Hey, Advanced Painting. Here we are, distance learning. You've been wondering what the project's going to be, and here it is. We're going to try to paint a cast of an ear. It's going to keep us busy for a while, but I think it's doable. So here's the canvas I gave you, and over here we're going to replace this photograph with one I already gridded. You can skip over this part if you remember it from Intro to Painting. We're just going to grid the canvas in exactly the same way that the photograph has been gridded. First by going corner to corner with any straight edge. I found an old yardstick in my basement. You can use a folded up piece of cardboard or a stick of wood or whatever you have. If you have a T-square, that's the easiest way to do the horizontals and verticals through the center. But if you don't have one, you can just take any piece of paper, line it up with the edge of the canvas, going through the center. Mark your points, and then use your straight edge again to draw the vertical or the horizontal. After that, you're just going to use the same straight edge to connect the ends of those vertical and horizontal lines. Creating an X in each quadrant. Then you're going to go through the centers of the X's first horizontally. And then vertically to complete the pattern. I'm doing these lines a little darker than you have to. I'm trying to make them visible on camera. You can do them very faintly, because remember that you're just going to have to erase them after your drawing's complete. Now we're just going to zoom in on one of the quadrants, upper left. And we're going to use what I call fractional thinking. In creating this drawing. Notice that between this point here, this point out here, this edge is about a quarter of the way. I'm going to start by marking about a quarter of the way along that line. Notice that this one here is a little less than halfway. This one here is about a fifth of the way down from that top corner. And now I have enough points to lightly sketch that curve. I feel like my curve's a little flat, so I'm just going to push it out like that. And working our way down, we see that this here is a little less than halfway along this edge. I can continue this curve down to here. This goes straight down and lands a little less than halfway along this line. And between here and here, this important contour is about a third of the way over. So that's about here. This contour is going to come up and sort of merge with that line there. And it comes out the other side. And again, before drawing the line, I want to see where it needs to land. And this is about a third of the way up between here and here. So mark a third of the way up. You can measure these points if you want, until you get better at estimating the fractions. And there's that. Notice we have another contour right here. Sort of merges with this line. And this is about a fifth of the way between this corner and this corner. So I'm going to mark a fifth of the way down. And while I'm at it, I'm going to mark this intersection, which is about a third of the way up. And now I'm going to curve in towards this point here. Go down. To this point here. This is about a third of the way between here and here, maybe a little more than a third. So estimate that distance. Curve up and over to meet here. And that's the first quarter of the image. So now we're going to just slide across. Second quarter. And we can see that this curve is pretty easy because it just goes out past this line and then right back in again. need to land it right here, which is about 1/6 of the way along that edge. And we're going to find these intersections. This is about 3/5 of the way over here, just a little over half. And this is about 1/4 of the way down here. This curve is going to continue around like that. And the edge sort of disappears. Here, and it gets picked up again down here. We already found this point. Notice that this curve is sort of flat through here, and then it comes around and joins with that red line. Goes flat and joins about here. This line here, which we already found, continues over and almost touches that red line. Like that. And our cast shadow on the wall starts right about here. It's about 1/5 of the way up this edge. Crosses over this triangle point. Comes down a little less than halfway along this edge and lands about in the middle of this one. Okay, we're already gonna head down to the next 1/4 of the image. And we can see that this little edge, which we started to find, forms the beginning of it's called the tragus. And that one was about 1/5 of the way down here. And bends around towards this point. And this plane change lands about 1/5 of the way up that edge. We already found this point, and that line's going to land right about here, which is about 1/3 of the way up here. So we're just going to head down to there. Now we're going to do this curve, which lands, I would say, about 2/5 of the way along here, a little less than half. See, there's the middle, a little less than that. And bends up to this juncture. Continues almost straight across. And right above that is the curve of the earlobe, which is really close to this, where it starts. Then it bends out towards this line and ends right about here, which is a little more than halfway along that line. Our cast shadow along this edge sort of just spreads out and merges with the edge of the canvas. And now we're going to go to the last quadrant. A little more going on over here. And we're going to find our landing point over here, which is about a third of the way down. And this one, which is about an eighth of the way down. So let's go over here and mark eighth of the way down, a third of the way down. So this curve is going to come around to here. This curve is going to come around to here. This curve sort of skims this edge before intersecting here, which is about a quarter of the way along this line. And then it comes up, connects with that outside contour. No, it doesn't. It connects with the inside contour. Sorry. That. And this one comes around, intersects about halfway on this line, joins the outside contour. Now some of these details are really, think of them as mainly shapes of light and dark. We have a couple more plane changes though. This one is about a little less than halfway along here. It connects not with the bottom of this, but just above it. Like that. And it curves around and connects with that plane change. And then there's a shape of dark. Like this. I think we should start outlining some of these shadow shapes. Don't even think about what they are, just copy the shapes the way you'd copy the shapes of countries on a map. And this shadow on the wall is coming down like that. add a couple more shadow shapes. We zoom out a little, you can see the whole thing now. This is one big shadow shape in here. A little transition to light right down here. And there's a big cast shadow going across the anti-helix up here. And I think that's enough outlines. At this point, we're gonna erase the grid. You really don't want that to show in the final painting. And you'll notice I didn't erase as much in the shadow areas because the lines aren't going to show as much down here anyway. And that's it for the first stage of this project. In the next phase, we'll be looking at the non-gridded picture and creating the underpainting.